Good morning. Good afternoon. Hi, Nancy. How are you? Ta-da! I should have done like a clap before I left the desert to come here so you could see a different background that I'm in right now. Um, so I hope everyone's having a good start into their weekend. My name's Amy. Go by the Mystic Rose Tarot. So here is, I'm going to wait till some people come in because I sort of did this, set this up the other day, and I really didn't post it out to a lot of people about doing this live. So a few days ago, I left New Mexico, and I am now relocated to Oregon. I'm in Portland. And the journey was wonderful. I shouldn't say like that because it sounds like I'm questioning it. The journey was wonderful. And it was a long drive. It's almost, let me see. Yeah, almost 2 days with a stop. And I did a update. Gerald, hi. Yeah. Whenever you do these road trips, there's a lot to think about, and where you've been, where you are, where you're going. I'm not thinking so much where I'm going. I just have to be right now present. So all I can say is yes. It feels very good and very right to be where I am right now. So I've been here for about 4 or 5 days, and just the change in scenery, obviously completely different from the desert. Everything's monotone. There's a different energy, just hands down, after living in the mountains for quite some time and getting used to that energy of the trees, feeling a nice cool breeze. Cool is what I need to emphasize, breeze. And just the smell of earth is just something that I really need to be around with. So I am not thumbing down my experience at the desert. The desert, I was given an opportunity to stay there, just to check it out. And I'm happy I did. It wasn't anything that I regret. I think there's no regrets when you're on a journey. You're going to make these choices, and you're going to do actions, and you're going to learn from them. So, yeah, the desert just kind of gave me a place and a test, I should say, for what I can actually take in from there and what I needed to let go. And there's a lot of letting go being in the desert. And I think that's good because that fiery energy that the desert has, it allows for a lot of purging. I'm big on fire energy, but it was a bit much over there with the heat and the sun. And the people are great, but just where I want to go and where I want to be long term. I actually realized that just after a few months of being there, and it's just a matter of me staying there long enough to take care of finances, expenses, and to save some money. And then when I had enough, and I wanted to get here in Oregon before autumn, I wanted to do it around this time. So it happened. I kicked butt. I worked very hard over there, and I made it happen. So this is where I am. I am subletting a place right now. So this place that I'm at, it's wonderful. It's a craftsman home. I'll give a quick tour of it. So this home is actually in 2 levels. So upstairs, one of the owners of the home lives above me, and the other owner, I am leasing out the space. So it's like a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom apartment. There's a spare room here that that I'm using just to put excess stuff that I have. So I'll give you a quick tour around that. So this isn't home base, but it's where I am right now. The person that is leasing his space for me is very nice, very open. And when I came into the home, because I only saw pictures of it online and gave me a video tour, but when I came in, it just resonated. It just felt right. It's you'll see. It's very earthy. It's very simple. Um, so please remind me if I go on a tangent to show you little bits of where I'm staying. So there's a lot to see now since I'm here. A lot to see what's going to happen ahead. Some of you know that next weekend, the weekend of October 7th, which is Indigenous Peoples Weekend. Well, Monday is the 10th, October 10th, is NEWTS. It's the Northwest Tarot Symposium that normally happens every year, but with the pandemic and the closures, the last one they had was in 2020, and so they were going to try and do it next year, but it wasn't. I guess it wasn't resonating. So it's now under a different partnership. So I'm one of the readers that will be there next weekend. So if anyone from Oregon, Portland, um, is going to be coming into town next weekend, please stop by. There's going to be lots of vendors. I'm going to be sitting on my hands, no buying tarot, no buying anything. But there's going to be some events going on there too. I'm going to be meeting some people who are on YouTube that are now in the Pacific Northwest that are coming to this event. There's going to be a meetup the day before the actual opening of the Tarot Symposium. So I am going to, and I think you can, I'm not certain about this. I believe you can actually view. I think they may be streaming live. I don't know if you have to pay for it, but they are going to be streaming. So the speakers is going to be Benabel, who's going to be there. T. Susan Chang, who was a guest on my channel last year. I'm looking forward to meeting her. And a few other people whose names are escaping me right now, so my apologies for that. But anyhow, that's going to be taking place next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Madam Pamita is going to be there from Los Angeles. So it's going to be a busy weekend, and I'm looking forward to that. I kind of flash back a little bit. I took a walk in the neighborhood that I'm in. I went like about almost 2 miles from where I am because the beauty of Portland is, hey, the beauty of Portland is, hey, Ian, is that there are all these different little, I want to call them boroughs, like in New York. There are all these different areas. And I'm not too far from an area called Selwood Moreland. I think there's Selwood and Selwood Westmoreland, in the same direction, but west. It's going in a different area. Anyhow, oh, excellent, Gerald. Excellent. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to say hi to her at the symposium. But all of these different areas, there's all these. They support a lot here in Portland, local artists, and everyone is very community centric, which I love. And I think also the part that helps Portland for me is that, or just probably Oregon in general, is that you don't really need to be in a car. I walked 2 miles yesterday. I passed, a nice park that has a trail. I'll probably do that this afternoon. But I went into this area. There are all these shops. There are like spices. There's coffee shops. There are restaurants. Oh my God, it smelled so wonderful. And two metaphysical stores a few blocks away from each other. And I went to visit them. One of them is Raven Wings Magical Shop, and they have a store in Oakland and here also in Portland. So I went to visit that store. It's my second trip there. I went there earlier, and hey Mel, I'll stop talking in a little bit, but I gotta continue sharing. And Raven's Wing is, it's the shop that you go to. It has that smell. It smells herbal. They have all the tools that you need, wands. It's not a boutique spiritual shop. It's an authentic shop. And I spoke to two of the coworkers there, and that's when I found out that they're going to actually be at the Tarot Symposium. So um, just wonderful to meet, people that are open like that. We exchanged information, and I spoke to some other proprietors of their businesses to kind of just start networking. And that's the thing. You're out of your cars, you're walking, you're making eye contact with people. It's a little unusual for me because I've been the last few years going to places in my car, and I had it. I just got tired of it. For the last 6 years, I've been in environments where the car has been relied on. So I really, my audio is choppy. Um, let's see here. I think I have the volume up. Um, I don't know what's going on. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Hang on a second. I don't want to end the stream. Okay. It could be the signal. Because I don't want to touch any buttons. If I do, I'm gonna lose this live. Try refreshing. Yeah, try refreshing your signal, because I'm fine here. I have full signal. Maybe, I don't know. If you can still hear me, everyone, because I see the numbers going up and down, give a thumbs up. Let me see here. Well, I'm going to keep going. Okay, yeah, I think it's just everyone's signal. So yes, just being out of the car and just connecting with people is so important for me. So to be here, that's an added plus. To be on foot. I'm going to get good workout again, walking, and it feels great just to be outside. So anyhow, that's one of the things that is making my stay here feel very, very good and very right. So what happens next? So I start setting these routes. I start focusing on where I want to direct my energy. I do have goals. I do have ideas. I have a lot planned, and so it's going to take time. But I think being in this environment, being in an environment that feels good for you, and that you don't have to struggle being in that environment. I know there's some people who don't have a choice, and they are in the environment that they're in, but you can still make the best out of it. And so that's what I did in the desert. Okay, really try to make the best out of it, but just I couldn't do it. And as you know, when I've done my lives, you heard how loud it was. I was right by that street, and even with the doors closed, you still couldn't muffle it. So I'm I'm in a quiet area, as you hear. The neighborhood's very nice. Um, it looks like it's heavily treed. And again, this was such a welcome. The day after I came in and I opened the door, because I came in late at night, and I woke up the next day, opened the door, and I look, and I just felt like I woke up to where I needed to be. Um, so so yes, perfect timing for Maybon. I know I have not done the reading for Maybon for obvious reasons. I'm going to focus on that over the weekend and do the reading. I'm already done unpacking. There's very The space doesn't allow me to put a lot of stuff out, so um, but I may do. And here's one thing: it's not working, but I have a fireplace. I have a fireplace that I can set it up as a hearth, and that I can do work um, in that space. And I already have it set up, and I'll show you that. Um, and so it feels good. And like I said, the decor of this home and the energy feels good. And I mentioned it uh, to Peter, the person that I'm leasing this home from. It feels really good. So I thanked him for having a beautiful home here for me to come in and stay. So let's see here. I'm going to stop here for a minute. I still need to drink water, but I'm not as dehydrated. Okay, let me stop here and catch up with everyone. So, okay, everyone can hear me now. So that's good. Just turn up the volume if needed, or just refresh your browser if there's an issue. Okay, so let's see here. Ian, I'm going to just scroll back. Anyone have any questions? In the meantime, let me scroll back. Yeah, Gerald, that reading that you did with the pulp tarot, it was just like, yeah, especially the transition card with swords. I was just like, yeah. I feel like there is guidance here and to direct me. So everything feels, like I said, everything feels where it needs to be. Let's see here. Mel, I am in Portland. I am in Oregon. And Oregon, or Portland, I believe. Yeah, it is Portland, sorry. Or maybe it's Oregon. It's known as the Rose State or Rose City. Probably the Rose City, because there are quite a bit of roses where I was walking, and outside of the house, in the front, there's some white roses. They're fading right now because of the end of the season, but there's some really nice white roses that will maybe bloom a little bit, maybe in a few months or so. We'll see. But again, wonderful welcome. Let's see here. Beth, I did find a place I'm leasing, and I'm going to be here for a little bit, just for a short time, and then I will be not relocating, but I will be finding another place that will be more long term. Because when I was looking, it's kind of hard to find things here. It's a little bit more on the pricier side, and you have to be very mindful. I went through Craigslist. I went through a lot of different sources, And I did have some potentials for some long-term leases, but especially on Craigslist, you got to be extra careful, and no one gets. I had maybe two or three people reply back, so I wasn't certain if they were scammers. One person had a home that was very, I don't even want to say, but it reminded me a lot of my place back in the mountains. That isn't too far from here, but her living circumstances changed, so that went out the window. But that's fine. What something doesn't happen opens up for something else. Let me see here. Spirit is doing good. And I'll start walking around so I could show you the area. I have to turn on lights because it's almost 11:30. I don't get as much sunlight here as I do back at the house in New Mexico. But Spirit is doing okay. There is a cat that's inside, indoors, outdoors, with another tenant who lives connected to the house. And the two of them have met in between doors, and Spirit is just not enjoying knowing that there's another cat here. So there's been a lot of yowls and he did this morning. And that cat, the other cat, his name is Atticus, looks just like him, but more on the thinner side. So I, I really would like to have Spirit outside, but I don't want him to get into an altercation with this other cat, which is of another tenant, and I don't want to cause any issues with that. So I have his harness, so I will probably take him out. I'll try maybe later today or tomorrow. Take him outside on the leash so that if Atticus decides to come by, I can have a containment of him. It's almost like the chariot, I'll be able to take care of one of the lions of my chariot so that he doesn't get into a fight. But yeah, he's doing okay. I put him on about a week before I was leaving. I started him on Cbd Treats, which they worked wonderful. He started calming down, especially when it came time for packing, and then placing him in the car because this was a long trip and we made a stop, an overnight stop, and he did okay. He was a little restless, but nothing that would be nothing that I couldn't handle. So he's looking outside the door. There's a screen door here, so it's good. So he has access to look outside. He can look outside the windows. There's a lot of windows here. And so I'm grateful for that. So he has a view that keeps him active. So he's not like enclosed in a room and not seeing too much of anything. At the other house in New Mexico, he had free range to roam around. But here, since it's almost the equivalent of a 2-bedroom apartment, large apartment, he's kind of limited. Let's see here. Let's see. The state flower is the Oregon grape. Okay, so then Portland is the Rose City. Oregon grape. Okay, I will keep that in mind. Yep, there are CBD treats for pets, and I'm very happy. It's I think it's called Snooty, not Snooty, or Snooty Pets or something like that. It's these treats that have lavender, chamomile, and there's a tiny, I think 5 milligrams of CBD in there. And I've tried CBD oil on Spirit when I was up in the mountains when I first got him in, because he was still a little bit on the wilder side. But it didn't seem to help. but I think this concentration of the treats, there's like a beef product in there, but everything else seems to be more herbal. It's all natural. It's made from a company in Reno, and it works. It works. So I need to find a pet shop here that carries this particular brand because I don't want to switch him on anything else. I'd rather keep him on, um, on the same thing because it seems to be working. Because if you've seen my videos in the past, you've probably heard him in the background that while I'm talking, he's yowling, he's meowing, he's jumping all over the place. But now he's just looking outside the door. So it does work. Beth, moving is hard on animals. My little Bodie went all the way cross country like a trooper, but after our second move, he broke down a bit. Yeah, I mean, I feel what's going to happen, and that's why I have to keep him on that harness. I can't let him go because I don't want him again to get into a fight with this other cat. So for the time being, I'm going to have to keep him harnessed, and I know he's not going to like that. He does meow at times because I think he knows that he's not open. He doesn't have the space to go outside like he did in the desert, and I don't want to upset the neighbors if there's a fight. Cats, dogs, all animals for the most part are territorial, and so with him, you want to come over here, Spirit? But with him, since I found him outdoors in the mountains, that's what he's used to. You want to come up here? So he has to acclimate, and I'm going to have to work with him on that. Yeah, those treats are wonderful. I gave him a quarter. They're like about this size between my thumb and my finger here, and I just give him a quarter of it, and it works. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy to have that for him. You give your dog Benadryl when we travel, but when I have to try that being, yeah, be careful with the Benadryl. That's more for like, it creates that drowsiness. But if you can, Mel, see if you can find something that's more on the natural side, something that's more, Spirit, something that is more attuned to a cat's natural cycle, and also to their body. You want to come here, Spirit? He's trying to get into the door or get out. But anyhow, let me give you this tour. Okay, so I'm going to have to unplug a few things here. Let me move this here. I have not connected with my tarot decks in about a week, and I feel like I'm missing something, missing a part of myself. Okay, so everyone, let me give me 1 second here. Okay, let me up this. Brighten your screen if you can. Okay, so here's the tour. Okay, so I'm in the living room. And this is more than likely where I'm going to be doing all the lives from, but maybe the living room. Let me turn on, sorry, you don't need to see this. Let me turn on the living room lights. I'll be right back. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm not going to show you everything, but okay, so here is the home is a Craftsman, which is very popular style of housing here in Portland, and I'm guessing maybe throughout Oregon. I have to see. Okay, so there's here. I love the archway there. We have the piano. The owner is a musician. You got the house there, lots of plants. Okay. And we've got our kitchen. And I think I'm going to drop this down. You want to say hi? You want to say hi, baby? There you go. Just so you know that he made it. Alrighty. Okay. We've got wonderful kitchen here. Okay. There we go. That door there leads to the laundry. We got hot dog there. And that door there is for the bathroom. You don't need a tour of the bathroom. But it's a beautiful bathroom, though. Let me show you this. Bathroom is made of stone. Stone and rocks and pebbles. I took a bath the other day, or the other night, and it was great. Alrighty, so I'll show you. There we go. So here, there's our altar. One of 3 altars, actually. This is my personal altar. Tarot. And here is the living room. And there's a fireplace. And I'm going to do some work in this area this evening. This fireplace is wonderful. Unfortunately, it's not working, but that's not a bad thing because it still holds energy and it holds space. So there's the tiny altar for sewing, and then on the mantle, just keeping it very simple. Like I said, there's not really a lot of room to put things in, but I want to keep it simple. I may add a few other things, come to think of it. Windows. Okay, let me tilt down. Okay, and I'm going to take you outside. I'm not going to show you the bedroom. The weather here is very nice. It's going to be like in the mid 80s here. So there's the door. There. Love that. There's the neighborhood. Look at all this green. And the gourds. I'll show you here the roses. Look at those beautiful roses, huh? Okay. I'm going to go back in because I don't want to lose the signal. And look who's waiting for us right there. Coming for you, Spirit. Alrighty. Okay, this is live. There we go. All right. So, there you have it. Very simple, but the craftsman decor of this home is just wonderful. I believe this house is 1915, and the whole neighborhood, or I guess like I was saying earlier, I think all of Portland, most of the homes that we see here, some of them are being renovated, are in the craftsman style. So very, 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 very nice. Lots of history here. when doing the walks and seeing the whole neighborhood. So I've been reading. I haven't retained all the information, but I've been reading about Oregon's history. A lot of settlers. There are Northwest American Indians that are based here. So I'll be looking into those cultures because that's where my interest from being in the Southwest desert came from, for having this admiration for Indian spirituality. So I'm going to transfer that information and see what's here. Oh, spirit, spirit, spirit. um, so yes, here I am. Spirit, what's wrong? What you want? So sorry. um, let's see here. Okay, so let me catch up. Candy, hi. And I got to put a shout out. Okay, if I think you're still here, Candy. I have to thank Candy for this move, because she's been, people who know her channel, she has a beautiful way of doing her videos in a very storytelling manner, in a very natural manner. And her videos of her journeys to the coast, and her home and all that, just, I mean, Candy, thank you. It just reaffirmed that this is the kind of environment I needed to be in. And so she fueled the inspiration a little bit more for me to make these changes happen. So, watch out, YouTube content creators. They can be influential in a good way, maybe in a not so good way, but she inspired me. So, Candy, I want to just say thank you for that. Okay. And leading me into this direction. So let's see. This will be a continuation, like I said, because I'll see the next place I'm going to be moving to, and see where it's going to hold. I can't even elaborate anything more upon that. So. Yeah, I'm looking back at the comments. Yeah, this energy is just, it's very natural. And like I said, the people, I feel like I can easily fit myself in here in this area, very naturally. So everything just feels like it's falling into place, which I like. And that in turn is going to change me. I'm already feeling a little bit more grounded here, a little bit more still, not so overheated, not so I don't want to say angered, but being in that heat there it just made it hard for me to really fully be where I wanted to be and who I wanted to be. So I feel good. So I do this because it's like, that's it. This is where I have to be. Yeah, Candy. It was definitely earth, but definitely the water aspect, because it was so, the desert, there isn't, we get the rainstorms and that's a relief, but there's more to it, and it is kind of hard for me to put it into words. But I think for the most of you who know me and have watched my transitions from the mountains to the desert, and now here, a little bit closer to water, it feels good. I can't really emphasize that. And I think the purging that I needed to do out in the desert, the letting go, the release, also a form of cleansing, releasing, letting go. Now I start healing. Okay. I think to be in the desert was something I needed to be in, to be challenged in many different ways, which I was. I tried to make it work. Um, and I think he sees Atticus. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Spirit. Spirit. Stop that. Spirit. Get back here. Spirit. 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 See what I mean? Oh, okay. So yeah, it feels right. Oh, spirit. Um, let's see here. Thank you, Candy. You're right here. I look happy, and that makes you happy. Yeah. It's like I feel like now things can settle for me. Um, let's see. Uh, Lizzie, hey, thank you for coming in. Yeah, definitely less dry. And this has nothing to do with the water. It's like I said, I think I'm slowly rehydrating myself physically, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally here. Um, let's see. Yeah, spirit. Lizzie is doing good. We have to work on this energy here with him so he can learn not to be so territorial, but it's hard. This is their natural instinct. This is where they need to, that's what they do naturally. And so it's going to take some time for him. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, Candy, you live with cats. My dogs are looking around the room. Yeah, I closed the door. Because Atticus was walking up the steps, and that's when the caterwauling started. And I walked to Spirit, and then Atticus stopped, and then Spirit jumped on the door. Here it goes again. I get the natural howling cats here for Halloween. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to leave it like this, okay? Because I can't stop the videos. I can't stop this and walk away. Let's see. I'm reading what your comment here, Beth. When the Apache leader Geronimo's family was killed while he was on a hunt, he went into the desert for days to cleanse. Wow. Yeah, in a sense. I mean, when you go to the desert or you do any kind of spiritual work in the desert, you have to be strong. You have to be prepared for it. And so I was when I got there, but I feel just the continual heat. Whether it weakened my constitution. I wasn't taking care of that part of me so that I can weather through the summer. You've seen me. I was drinking so much water, so on and so forth. It made it very, very hard, and I don't want to have to fight to feel some sort of comfort in an environment that I'm just not connecting with. So it's here, it comes very naturally, and I feel very, very much at home. Not that it means I have to drink less water, in a sense I do, but it's very comforting here. So, and I felt that purging, that releasing that I did prepared me here so I can heal from the experience of living out in the Southwest. Okay. And for anyone who's getting this far, if they watch the replay, I'm not downplaying the desert, but um, there is a certain constitution, or I mean constitution, physical body type, mentality, emotionality that it comes to, and endurance that comes to living in the desert. And that isn't that is it for me. So I love it. I will definitely go back and visit. I know if you go to the eastern part of Oregon, when you start bordering towards Utah, you definitely see the desert. I had a wonderful drive through Utah. Moab just floored me. I didn't make it to Arches because this drive was 1,300 miles, and I had to get to my rest stop by a certain time. So if I stopped and started taking pictures, I would never arrive here in the time that I needed. So, but the drive was just um, wonderful, seeing the different rock formations and the colors going through Moab. Moab definitely wowed me. I really enjoyed that part of the trip probably more than anything else um, until I arrived into Oregon. Let's see here. Um, yeah, there are. I have to probably drive out, but there is a park I mentioned earlier in this discussion. There's a park, walking distance, that has trails. So I'm going to take a look at that. Um, there is an issue um, with homeless here, and I don't want to um, avoid saying it, but it is here. It's in every city that we live in. We see it, um, and interesting enough, it doesn't bother me here so much because being being raised in the city, I was used to seeing that. So coming into a city, it just feels, I don't want to say it feels like it's a natural part of being in a city, but in a sense it is. Um, where I was living in the desert, there were homeless, or there are homeless people there, but it's kind of interesting the way that it was set up. The homeless seem to be getting pushed out in various areas um, in uh, in Albuquerque, where I was living. The city's trying to figure out what to do with the homeless, and they really can't do anything about it. But anyhow, um, it's it's something that that city, Albuquerque, and also other cities in New Mexico, they're trying to work with and try to see what they can do with it, because it is growing there. Here, it's growing as well, from what I was told. But but as I was saying, since I come from the city, it doesn't bother me as much. I think in Albuquerque, because it kind of spreads out into pockets and it starts going into the suburbs. Um, it places the energy um, in a different realm. It didn't bother me, but it was just interesting because um, I can't live in suburbia, just hands down. I did it. I did it in Albuquerque, and I did it in um, in the mountains. The mountain suburbia is a little different though, but in Albuquerque, where I was, because there's that busy side street, and it was very suburban. Again, you had to get into your car to go to places. It was just very challenging. So that's what I mean about not living in suburban, because you have to get in your car and you have to drive. Um, but yes, it feels good to be in a small city. And there was a lot to learn from this time living out in the Southwest. Okay, I'm going to look at questions. I'm going to start wrapping this up because I could probably go on a little bit longer with this. But let's see what we have here. I'm scrolling all the way back. Candy, the day you did the hike, I felt you would move. Yeah, there's the Sandia Mountains, which was about 20 minutes away from where I was living in Albuquerque, and that just when I was walking and just being there, it's like, yeah, yeah. I knew I would get back to that kind of environment, being in the forest. I just didn't know um, how things were going to be moving, but obviously after some time um, living out there, I was just like, yeah, it's time. It is time. Um, let's see here. Let's see. Everyone knew that I wasn't going to last. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, and that's just it. I if there's a calling and there's an opportunity for me to experience something, I like to do it, you know. And again, as I mentioned a few times, I'm happy that I did. Okay, because I got my answer. I knew where I can't be, and I know where I need to be. Um, let's see, Beth, when I moved to the desert back a few decades, I got so ill. It was such a shock to my system, but I acclimated and did love it. Yeah, I think, when people are sort of having no choice and they have to move to a place that may not be desirable, yeah, you'll get used to it. But my my concern was for me long term. I don't want to keep moving. So I set the intention this year with the understanding that I know I was going to be moving a few times. And so until I found the perfect fit, and this is where I'm going to feel I'm going to place roots, or at least the environment. Okay. Um, so it's it's something that I can't be too surprised about. But now, as I mentioned earlier, I need to set roots. I need to find a place, you know, long term until I find a permanent home. So there'll be more of shifts happening here and there, but environmentally wise, this is where I'm going to be. Trees, forest, definitely water. I haven't been to the beach in, I don't know, 4 years. I saw you were asking how far I am to the coast. I think it's 2.5 hours. I think the closest is Tillamook and Astoria. And I looked online for that coastal community, and it looks wonderful. So I will be making a drive there in the coming weeks to check it out. Um, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited to see this. Let's see. Mel wants me on a hike. Okay, I'll try to. I still don't have the numbers. Well, I guess I could do it on my phone. Yeah, I was gonna say you need to have a certain amount of followers to, I think, upload from your phone, because that's ideally what I would like to do. Do the video and then upload it straight from my phone. But yeah, I'll do this. I got to find the right place though, because there's so many trails that I'm told that are around here, especially the one that I'm going to hopefully get to this weekend. Um, I want it to be magical. I want it to be like Candy's World, which I know there is. It's those kinds of forests. I have to kind of go out a bit, but I don't know. Maybe there's some here that are right in the city, and I just have to find it. So let the forest finding exploration begin. Beth, I know about Powell's books. Oh, um, I went to two different ones. When I came here a few years back, a friend took me to Powell's because I said, I got to go to Powell's. But I only had a few minutes because I had to catch my flight to go back home. So I popped into that one. And then when I went to visit here earlier this year, I went to one of the bigger ones that was in the city. And I think I was there for about 2.5 hours. And it was just, yeah. So yes, I know about Powell's. Um, I'll yeah, it's one of those bookstores that you can lose yourself in, but I don't wanna buy too much, okay? Because 'cause I'm still, I haven't found a home yet, so I don't wanna be carrying too much, but at least if I was to buy a few more things, I don't have to, pack. I can make maybe multiple trips. I don't have to do everything packed in one vehicle. Let's what else you have here? Yeah, yeah, Beth, about Albuquerque and the crime. I was aware of it. The downtown Albuquerque, I have passed through quite a few times, and I went to see a show there, um, over the summer, and it's interesting because their downtown Albuquerque isn't big. Um, it's I don't know, maybe 10 blocks, 10 to 12 blocks, and then it just starts dispersing out into different areas. But yeah, I've heard of all sorts of crime that's happening there and drug increase, and I guess Breaking Bad, right, where that series was filmed at, kind of shows the scars of Albuquerque, and it broke my heart too because speaking to a few people in Albuquerque. They love the city, but they're saying it's making it hard for them um, to enjoy it more because of the increase of crime and whatnot. So like here in Portland, all these cities, there's they're trying to make changes, but it's going to be slow, and we have to work with what resources are there. And um, I did a walk here the other night. Okay, a few days after I got here, I did a walk at night. I went to get some food, and I went through um, some gritty areas, and I was fine. I had something with me just in case, but I kept my street smarts. You keep looking around, and you make yourself known that you are prepared or be aware, if something was to happen. So I think when you put that energy out, it kind of puts a field around you. I know you need more than that if someone was to come to you, but if you put that energy out, like, don't mess with me, um, that helps reinforce um, a spiritual safety, and also I feel a physical and emotional safety when you go outside. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Mel, you admire my courage to do moves. Uh, yeah, but like I said, this is. I'm saying it like 4 times, right? This is where I'm gonna base myself, and I also have friends that are up in Canada. I lived in Vancouver, Canada, for quite a few years, way, like long time ago, and I'm happy to know that we are now closer. It's a 6-hour train ride, and I forgot you could take the train. So I will hopefully be doing that, and while I'm here, to check it out. Um, but But yeah, it's great. Closer to Canada again. Um, let's see. I need vacation, though. I wish I could smell the salt in the air again. Yeah, well, I don't. You're in Detroit, right, Mel? I can't remember what city you're in. Um, but I mean, you have the lakes. I think you're in Detroit. Um, no, Alaska. Too cold. Too cold. But I would love to see the northern lights, and I would like to experience, um, what is it? In the summer when the days are longer, but now they're moving towards winter. Um, the days where I guess, it's midnight and it's still somewhat light. I like to experience stuff like that, where the body is challenged, like here being in the desert, where the body's being challenged, um, to experience something different in a natural environment. Smells, obviously scenery, what you hear, that all affects, um, you know, who you are. And I have to say too, a few days after arriving, and I'm still feeling it, I'm a little bit in a culture shock, because of, the proximity to everything. Because I've been so used to just going out the door, getting into my car and driving. So it's gonna take a little bit of time to adjust, but just to walk out the door and keep walking and just go to places that are just, under 2 to 3 miles away as opposed to, um, 6 miles or like a 20-minute drive, or when I was in the mountains, 40 minutes to go down to, like, the nearest Trader Joe's to go down the mountains. I have to get used to it, but it's again, I welcome it. Um, let's see here. I don't know. I don't know if it'll work, Lizzie. I think it's over 1,000. Not that I'm making a pledge, I pledge for 1,000 subscribers so I can start doing stuff on my phone. I'm getting there in time. There's no rush for that. Um, Beth, yeah, it has one of the highest crime rates. There's billboards that they're looking for, a certain suspect for murder or burglary. And it's kind of, considering how spacious, um, New Mexico is, it is disheartening to see, you know, crime there. Also, actually, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say because it's not putting good energy towards New Mexico. It's beautiful. Okay, it works for people and it doesn't work for everyone. But I will visit. I will go back to visit, and the desert states, just when the time's right and when the calling's there. So we'll leave it. I'll leave it at that. This is all about now my next journey. I want to focus that energy there. My time in Albuquerque, New Mexico, love Santa Fe. That's in the past. Okay. And I have remnants of it, that I can always reflect upon, but that's now the past. I'm here, present, and now we're going to start moving forward in the future. Uh, I have not seen Breaking Bad because I don't watch TV. So I just know of Breaking Bad and some of the characters from when I went into New Mexico. So everyone, don't drop your phone or drop your fork or your cup. But yes, I have not seen Breaking Bad, just simply because I don't have a TV and my focus is on other things. Um, Candy, the distance. Yeah, yeah, it's a big country. It is a big country. And imagine how we feel here in the States to Europe, where you can travel to all these different countries that you are connected to. You may have to take a boat or fly over, but you're nearby. Here we got to drive distances from Albuquerque to where I am here in Portland was about 1,300 miles. It's about 22 hours, but I had to stretch it out because Spirit doesn't know how to drive. And, when your eyes start rolling in the back of your head, it's time to stop, sleep. I did an Airbnb overnight and continued the trip. But I remember when I drove from the mountains to Albuquerque, I did that in 16 hours. I took like a 1 hour break. And by the time I got into Albuquerque, literally my eyes were like this. I was just trying to keep them open so I wouldn't fall asleep. But yeah, I can't do a drive like this again, at least not by myself. It takes a lot, or if I can and I can afford to extend it out for days, then I will. But in this case, I was, able to do an overnight and then continue the journey. So it's, it was a wonderful experience. Yep, I know Toronto as well. My first visit to Toronto over 30 years ago was in between blizzards. I went in January because I thought it'd be wonderful to see winter for the first time. And I go to Canada, I go to Toronto, and I go in January in between blizzards. I learned my lesson with that one. Let's see. Beth, are you doing like crime stats right now for the states? Alaska's the state with the highest crime. So we're looking at state. We're not looking at cities. Okay, because I think Chicago is up there with one of the highest crime rates. Chicago, I think New York has dropped a little bit, but let's see. Mel says she absolutely okay. Anchorage is okay. All righty. Crime stats right here. Keep track. Let's see here. Oh, I'm deprived, Lizzie, because I'm not deprived. Believe me, this Taurus has a lot to focus on. I have no time for TV. So anything that's going on, I catch a glimpse news-wise, through Google. But everything else is through word of mouth. People can tell me a movie and I probably won't even know about it. So I'm happily deprived in that sense. But I'm also realistic. I don't want to be shut off entirely by what's going on in the world. Let's see, Candy. Only 3 hours. Wow, that would be great. I think from what I was reading here, from the north part of Oregon to the southern part of Oregon, I think it's under 6 hours because Oregon's a smaller state. And I think it's the same from the east to the west. I think it's around the same distance. It's like a box, Oregon, in a sense. The distance up and down, left and right, are probably about the same, maybe a little bit longer on one side. The coast, like I said, I think is about 2 hours from here. If you're in the central part, like Eugene, I think it could be a little bit longer. It gets a little bit wider as you go further down. The state does. Let's see, 3 hours is my commute every day back and forth into San Francisco. Where were you, Beth, in the Bay Area that it took you 3 hours? Were you in Concord, Walnut Creek, any of those areas? Yeah, I don't own a TV either. The co-owner of this house where I'm leasing from He was telling me how to use the remote for the TV, and I said, I'm not going to be watching TV. It's there, but I thought of maybe using it as a monitor, but I'm not going to bother with it. Yeah, 3 hours. That's a joyride, especially when you come from California and you're used to commuting long distances, to get from one point to another. Yeah, you know. So, like I was saying here, knowing that I'm 2 miles away to like stores and stuff like that, this is, commute wise, it's I can even walk to it, you know. Gas here though is very pricey. Gas is very pricey here. It's like averaging here in the city, what I've been seeing, it's averaging about $5.50, as opposed to New Mexico where it's $2 cheaper. But I was starting to think, since I don't need to drive around too much to do my errands, I can easily manage that. I can walk, or if I have to take the car, be manageable. I don't have to drive long distances, in other words, to get to where I need to, and use a lot of gas, even though I have to pay more for it. Okay, let me see what else. Oh, you lived in Walnut Creek. Okay. Ah, Beth and Lizzie, did you guys know that? Oh, I know Orinda. Yeah, Orinda, I think Orinda was bordered to the East Bay, if I remember. I haven't lived in the Bay Area since 94. I took the BART quite a bit, the BART and the buses, and I rode my bike. I don't have my bike here. My bike's in storage. So at some point, that bike will be coming over here so I could join everyone else. It's a very bike-centric city here, so I have to be, not that I'm not, but because there's a lot more cyclists, I have to be more mindful, um, because they could come. There's bike lanes, but I have to be careful because they may come in and out, and don't want anything like that uh, bad to happen. Um, let's see here. You did 5 days a week, Beth. Wow. Wow. 3 hours. So I'm guessing 3 hours each way, right? 1.5 hours? Or was it 3 hours? Oh, okay. Got it. Yep, I remember. Yeah, the tunnel, Piedmont. Piedmont is a cute district too. I lived in um, I lived in Lake Merritt for a while, and so Piedmont, and I think Montclair were the cities that were up a little bit towards the base of the Oakland Hills, and I was there for the Hills fire when I was married, and that was pretty devastating to see. I went to school by one of the areas that was burned. There's the Mountain View Cemetery that I think got hit a little bit, but it was those homes on the hills and around that area that got hit really bad. That was so awful. And it was in October. It was around this time of the year that those fires started. So luckily, nothing like that has happened since. 3 hours total one way or more. Okay, got it. Yeah, 1.5 hours. Yeah, I mean, Candy, it's just like what England is for you is what Portland feels to me because everything is nearby. Well, I would guess. I don't know. I don't know if you have to drive a distance to get to your resources, but but yeah. Again, growing up in California, the car culture, that's all you know. So as I said, it's just taking some time to get used to, not relying on the car so much. I'll need it for work, but for errands and stuff like that, I can take the train system or the bus system if needed. So yes, come on over, everyone. Come over and visit. I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to, let's see, I may have a friend come over and visit who lives here in Portland this weekend. So I'm going to see if I could do live readings tomorrow. I just got to figure out what time once I hear from them for the visit. And I want to start preparing for Newt's next weekend. So I'm gonna do that Maybon reading. It's a week late, but hey, it's still valid. And I need to be in contact with Gerald because we have some stuff that we're going back and forth for the Samhain weekends. All the stuff I'm going to start building up to. I'm so excited to be here during the fall and to welcome in Samhain here. It feels good. Okay, let me see what else, and then I'm gonna end here. I want to thank everyone for watching, keeping me company, asking the questions, listening to the caterwauls of spirit, and just keeping me company as I share my excitement of being here. Let's see here. I just Googled and it's about the same. I just Googled and did you know that England is about the same square miles as Oregon? You know what? It looked like it. That's why I was saying Oregon and England is probably about the same. Because of the shape of it. It's like a rectangle. But we get the coast, which is wonderful. Yeah, I mean, the quaintness is also with the historic aspect of what England, the UK, Scotland, Ireland, all those different countries are surrounded with. And Portland is like this, because of the history. If you're curious about Portland's architecture and I just drew a blank, sorry. The architecture and the history of the houses here, the craftsmen. Type in Portland craftsman homes and you'll get a whole story of them. And so it gives it a nice, quaint, we'll use the word quaint, feel, almost like New England in a sense. It has the falls, the changing of the trees, the changing of the leaves, all of that kind of energy. So if you scroll back maybe 30 minutes ago, you'll see the jittery view of the neighborhood of where I'm at from the computer. Thank you so much, Candy. Thank you. And again, appreciate you inspiring me to follow my heart and listening to what's calling. So thank you so much, Candy, for that. And so thank you so much. Yeah, no lizards here, squirrels. But he's going to have to be on a harness for the time being. Okay, I'm looking at the comments here. Yeah, that's it. So check in. I'll see if I can do this. Try and do live readings tomorrow. I have to record the Maybon autumn equinox reading. So apologies to everyone. As I normally do each Sabbath, I do a live, but for this transition, I couldn't, but I want to do this reading and share it with you. And this will be for the months of October, November, and December. So I should have that up in the next day or two, so it's ready for you. And stay tuned. I'll be putting more content as it happens. And I want to send a big hug to everyone for watching and supporting me through this whole transition of 2022. I'm in my hermit year, so I'm definitely leading that life of the hermit, following it because it's given me light and insight into where things are going to be going. So have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Happy October 1st. Happy birthday to any Libras here. I will be changing the way that I do my readings. So I have to do a Libra profile, tarot astrology profile. Oh my God, I have so much I need to catch up on. Anyhow, TBC, to be continued. Let people know about this channel. If you feel that they would enjoy it, spread the word around. And I will see you all soon. And once again, thank you everyone for just being communicative and just watching this whole shift that's been going on with me, and for the support. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.